when we write, we can go to any world, visit any place, see any face, hear any voice, feel any feeling. We can see any sight. We can dream any dream. We can literally do anything. We can fly. We can dive into a volcano, swim down into the lava, just cooling down the volcano with our icy skin when we dive right into that lava. And in our world, it can make perfect sense. It can work totally well. When we write, we're capable of anything. What I want you to do is, I want you to imagine a place. I want you to feel a feeling. I want you to smell a smell. I want you to I want you to remember a sensation. Whatever it is, that's going to be what you call upon on when we write. Writing is the most magical thing that there is in this world. When we write, we imagine, and when we imagine, we dare to envision things as they have never been. What I want you to understand is that writing is not just about words on paper. Writing is about your mind, your imagination. Writing is about the quality of your thoughts. If you can improve your writing, you can improve your life. If you can improve your writing, you can improve the quality of you getting through this world. That's what I want you to understand. That when you, by degree, improve your quality of writing, you are improving the quality of your life. Now, the most important thing about writing is that there are no limits. There are no limits on writing. No limits at all. The writing is completely free. When we write, we can at one moment be in the present, and then we can travel back through time, and we can spend some time and, where the dinosaurs are, and we can spend some time, with some slug creatures on the primordial ocean beaches of Earth. I mean, can you imagine that? The primordial ocean beaches of Earth. So I want you to see what that's like, that there's blue, deep blue, and then there's the yellow of the beach, and there's lighter blues where the fresh water is coming in, and you can see where the shore meets the water, and maybe in your mind that looks a certain way, and then you can see the sand, and up on the dunes there's some hills, and in the hills there are some very sharp leaf trees, and they are tropical in nature. And so now I want you to just think about this for a second. Like, writing is all about making distinctions, making making things unique. When I say a tropical beach, I don't mean a Arctic beach. When I say a New England beach, I don't mean a rainforest beach. So you see that we want to like really use our language to expand the picture that someone has in their mind. So your reader is who you're going to want to have in mind when you're writing. This is very important. You're going to want to have your reader in mind because your reader is who your story is for. And when you write your story, you're going to want to think about, who is this that I'm writing this for? Why am I writing this? What am I getting from this story? What am I trying to put out there? Like, what am I trying to convey? What is the moral, the lesson? What am I trying to highlight? What am I trying to showcase? You see, when we write, we're able to just go into any kind of mode that we would like. So, for the purpose of conveying ideas to the reader, we can bring the devil into the room and have, Shakespeare and Galileo and Isaac Newton, and they can all be in the same room, and then all of a sudden it's a spaceship, and the ship is shooting off, and then it's going off, and then it's all of a sudden it just jumped through dimensions, and now it's literally, we're going to parallel Earths, and these Earths are different. They're different, and this is a different kind of a place. And so, what kind of a place is it? And how do we convey that with writing? You see, a hopeless place is not a luckless place. And a living hell is not a living nightmare. See, English is very much about feeling and conveying specific feeling with your words. So in that sense, like, what I mean is that when I am blue, it is not the same as when I am depressed. Or when I am in despair, it's not the same as when I am in melancholia. And, like, when I am, when you are in pain, it's not the same thing as being tormented. Those words, they have subtleties and nuances which they convey, and that allows us to to really make powerful statements that convey important ideas which allow us to convey things exactly as we would like. So when you're talking about writing, what you're going to want to do is have a specific idea in mind. You're going to want to brainstorm on your idea, and you're going to want to kind of build a palace in your mind with your idea. And you're going to want to hold that idea in your mind and let it develop like you are a pregnant mother with a fetus in your belly, and that story is gestating, and it is becoming more and more, and it's building up, and it is degree by degree becoming more and more a story. And each story, well, that story, it is like a picture in someone's mind. And with that picture is a story. Because, well, that's how people keep track of things, through stories. And so, like, for example, when you look at a photo of yourself when you were 6 years old, you go, that's me when I was 6 years old, and I was there in Washington, D.C., in front of the Washington Monument, and my mom and dad took a photo. And that's the kind of thing that your characters, you're going to want them to have that too. You're going to want your characters to think like that. So you're going to want to bring everything that you bring in life with you to write. So think about that. Think about your characters. So the more realistic your characters are, the better your story is. But now, that doesn't mean that if you share the most boring, regular details of everyday life, that it'll be interesting and fascinating. No, writing is supposed to be spectacular. It's supposed to be important. It's supposed to be really designed to blow people away. So now the most important thing that you can do when you are writing is to be as interesting as possible. When you write, you're going to need to keep the reader's attention. And to keep a reader's attention is not easy, because it's not just about constant action, because the reader, they don't want constant action. They need time for their thoughts to develop. They need time for their mind to work. They need time for your ideas to become like music in their mind's eye. So you're really going to want to focus on that, the mind's eye. So in the mind's eye, you can see exactly whatever it is that you're imagining. And so if I see a red apple, I can see the skin of that red apple. Maybe it has a little shine on it. It's this apple is pretty. It's not exactly perfect. It's like a little, just it's not entirely perfectly shaped, and yeah, like there's that little shining white and red that you can see, like it just and you can see the stem, and so yeah, that's what you're gonna want to do. You're gonna want to like really focus on the things that allow someone to to just to be to have the character of that situation impressed upon them, to just like, okay, so you can do whatever you want. You can write with uh, you know, a grandmother can be talking to her granddaughter in the future as a child, and she's looking into a haunted mirror and she's talking to her granddaughter in the future, and she says, "You're not gonna believe this, but you go on to blah 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 blah," and that's just the beginning. I mean, you can do absolutely anything, and if you can do anything, that means you're gonna wanna use that to convey the ideas which your story is constructed of. Like, you see, okay, so it's not just enough to have the plot of your story. You have the plot of your story, and that stands by itself, and that's a thing in and of itself. And then you have other ideas, like that they just are in the work itself. Like, maybe we're talking about, let's use an example, let's use an example, and we'll do Ernest Hemingway, A Call to Arms. And now, let's say they have that, and that's going to have its own themes and ideas, and then it's going to have, the themes and ideas which are just there in the background. And those ideas, whatever they may be on the nature of war and the nature of struggle. See, struggle is so important. Like, your characters, they are going to struggle, and when they struggle, that is going to get the sympathy of the reader. And suffering by your main character is what makes the reader tick, tick, tick. So you gotta tick, tick, tick that reader and get them to like really feel something for your main character. Because this main character is gonna be the nearest, dearest friend of your reader for, a certain amount of time. And as writers, we need to take care of our readers, okay? Now I want you to hear me when I say that. I want you to hear me when I say that we have to take care of our readers. So what does that mean? What does that mean we have to take care of our readers? Okay, so when someone reads a book, now it's not just about plot. So you think that I'm reading a story, this is going to happen, and this is going to happen, and then, I'll learn a neat lesson, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's not necessarily the case, because sometimes what, the writer is trying to convey is not just plot. What they're trying to convey is a type of character or a type of feeling. So let's use an example. Let's use Notes from Underground by Fyodor Dostoevsky. So now this is a novella. It's about, with a narrator, a discordant kind of narrator who is, not a trustworthy narrator. So what does it mean to have an untrustworthy narrator? So that means that we can't know that when they say something that it authentically happened as they say it happened. So now I may say, oh, I went to the bar, and when I was at the bar, I told a bunch of jokes and everybody laughed, and I threw the dart and it went right in the center, and I went right in the, and it was like, and everything was perfect. And now that is just not an ineffective way of conveying that I had a great time at the bar. That's going to come through. And part of the effect that makes that so powerful is that, when I'm telling this story and I'm exaggerating and I'm, everybody was laughing and they were just they were slamming me on the back and they were just dying of laughter because I'm hysterical. It conveys a certain kind of sense, and with that sense, we're writing. When we write, we convey. And when we convey, we are making sure that our minds are going to far places and touching these places. Like, we need as much information so that we as readers, we can connect with the work. So as a reader, we want as much information without being overwhelmed, and we want that information to give us a clear picture of exactly what our main characters and our side characters, whatever, that they are all conveyed to the reader with as much style and panache and excitement and creativity as possible. So when we're writing, we're not only you know, we're not only, conveying strong emotions and feelings and, sparks of lightning as they shoot out of our fingertips, and maybe I can feel the lightning as it moves through my veins, and now everything is just perfectly suited to conveying a story. So that's the thing you need to realize is that stories want to be told. You know, you go to the store to get some eggs, and it's a story. You just listen to that. I went to the store to buy some eggs. It's just a sentence, and it's a story. So we're gonna want to at its core to look at, what is our story, and so yeah, when we convey that story, the tools that we have are numerous, and we're gonna be able to use them to captivate our audience, cultivate our reader. We are going to give them exactly everything that they want from the story. And now, so your story is only as limited as your imagination. And your imagination is completely unlimited. I want you to realize that. I want you to realize that there is absolutely nothing you can't imagine. This is the most important idea for you as a writer. There is nothing that you can't imagine. Absolutely nothing that you can't imagine. And so that means that you can write the most interesting story that has ever been written. I want you to hear that. Yes, you can write the most interesting story that has ever been written. And that is because it is in your mind. The greatest story ever told is in your mind. It is bubbling up in your head. It is waiting for you to write it down. It is there. Because when we write, we are capable of creating worlds. And in our worlds, are we going to have a marble staircase? Are we going to have a corduroy curtain? Are we going to have a silk handkerchief, a steel beam, a red brick? What kind of story are we going to tell? When we write, we can tell any story. There's no limit to the stories we can tell. And that's what I want to convey to you. So that's what I want you to take from this. That when we write, we're going to be able to do anything. And you are capable of creating any kind of world. And when you get there, you can manipulate the characters in any way you see fit. It can be slow motion, whatever. It can be dreams, it can, whatever it is. When you're writing, you can do anything. Realize there are no limits on writing. That is completely free, total unlimited freedom when we write, and I want you to understand that and to just completely allow yourself to just go off and run with your ideas and run wild with them.